Alright, YouTube land. So today I got a couple things in the mail. I got my brake lines and the new clutch or brake lever. So I'm gonna put those on and show you how we're gonna do that. I'm working on a 1983 Honda Magna VF750C. It's a V45. So yeah, we'll put the brake lines on and the front brake handle lever. I have special handlebars, so it may look a little bit different. They're handlebars from a 1985 Honda Rebel 250, so they're pretty small handlebars for this bike, but I like them better. Just so that you know, it looks a little bit different, but that's what it is. So yeah, I'm gonna try to do this whole video in one take so that there's not a whole bunch of links to other stuff, because the last video that I uploaded was kind of a pain in the butt with that. So yeah, I'll go through this, I'll talk my way through it as I'm going, and we'll get it done. So the first thing, there's a nut right here that has a screw on it. The nut will come off the bottom, but then this screw you have to actually screw all the way out. It has a really wide head, so you can use a big driver if you want. But it'll come out eventually, and then you can pull it off the top. So there's that. And then the new lever goes on here. It literally just slides in there. You got to make sure that when you push it in, the plunger hits here, back on the back. This part hits the plunger that actually depresses your brake. And then on the front, the plate that's here should hit this little electrical signal right there to turn your brake lights on and off. So slide that right in there. Slide that down through the top, kind of wiggle it in, move around a little bit for you.
Honestly, I'm not sure if Bill and the Ice Queen will make it 5 years. But I do know this. If it weren't for those new toasty 7-Eleven melt sandwiches us groomsmen had for lunch, none of us would be here tonight. So congrats, 7-Eleven. Your delicious meats and melty cheese save the day. Here's to lunch worth toasting. Try the only chicken bacon ranch.
It's kind of a pain in the butt to get started because it's on a spring system there. So just kind of wiggle it around, get it to drop in for you. There we go. So you saw it drop, and then you can go ahead and just start tightening her down. And then I put this nut on the bottom just to verify that it's on there real good and tight. And get a ratchet real quick.
See just how nice it is to shop for your Subaru right between the bridges with no tax to Oregon buyers at Dick Hanna Subaru in the giant Vancouver Automall. Dick Hanna dealerships believe in nice.
The best thing to do with high-rate loans and credit cards? Pay them off. The second best, consolidate at a lower rate with a key bank home equity loan as low as 3.99% APR. Visit key.com/homeequity101. Subject to credit approval. Certain requirements apply.
Make sure you can freely move, and you should be good to go. I'll adjust this because when it comes up, it hits a little bit high up here. I want it to be down a little bit, so I'll actually slide this forward, but that'll be a later thing. So there's the lever. Now I'm going to move the camera for you so you can see a little bit better. Turn it down. So there's a line that runs from the brake lever there all the way down the front, hits that splitter that's right under the horns, and goes down to the brakes. You can see the new lines that I have. They're hanging right there on the front. So we're going to put those on. So first thing we got to do is take the old ones off. So we'll do that real quick. Those are, I believe, 12 millimeter there. So we'll grab 12 and an extender just to make it easier. again, I use this double-sided ratchet. It's really handy. So I can put two different sizes on there. Yeah, it's a 12. So I can actually put two different sizes on. Just to clarify this ahead of time, I've drained most of the brake fluid out of this ahead of time, so I don't have it going everywhere, because that would be a serious pain in the butt. But there's still going to be some in there, just not a lot. So if you do, dropped a nut down here somewhere, or a washer. I'll get it. Come back to it. Let me get my nut bowl. Keep track of your nuts and stuff, because that's will get you in trouble. Well, I thought I had drained more out than I had in here, but it's all good. It's all going to come out anyways, so. You really don't want to get this stuff on your hands. I know I don't have gloves on, but I'm going to wash my hands here in a minute anyways. So, notice that on this side, over here, on your right side, you have a longer banjo bolt. So just keep that in mind. This one's the shorter one, is on the left side. So when you're doing this, you got to keep that in mind. These under here are 10 millimeter. So undo those, because you're taking off those main bolts that hold it on there, or the nuts that secure it down. That off. Now, what we're trying to get to is this piece here, this piece strip along the top. You also have the front brake line. It's going to slip down and around there, so that needs to come out. And that's on this side. That's why you have that extra long banjo bolt, is so that you can get both of those lines connected there. So there's that is off. Now, let's see what else is holding this on. Kind of a pain in the butt. Looks like if I took the headlight off, this would come off easier. But you can also just lift the horns out like that, and you see the whole thing fall off. But, so there's your main thing. So it needs to be on with the nuts down, right? I believe. No, I lied. The nuts up like that. The extra extension there needs to be up, so it'll be on like that. So when we go to put these back on, this is the whole piece. We got both lines here, right? So I'm gonna slide this. I'm gonna slide the horns down in here first, and then bring that whole piece back up Gotta make sure that my wires that I have all extended for the horn and all the other electric in there is out. And then we'll gently, but with firm pressure, slide that back up on there. I'm actually going to loosen the headlight real fast to make it easier for everybody. Some 8 Allen on each side here. My hands apparently don't want to work today. Just each side of that so you can turn your headlight up, kind of let it get out of the way. Where is it? It's hanging up. Feels like it, at least somewhere on there. Oh, I gotta get all this stuff out of the way, out of all these hoses. And then it should just pop right down in there. There we go, see that? So there's hoses here, cables, hose, and then over here is your clutch hose, your choke cable. All that stuff is coming down here too. You gotta kind of make sure that it's both out of the way. I'm just gonna let these dangle at this point till we get all this secured back down. So then just hang this bad boy up here, and then using that number 10 socket wrench, 10mm, just put these guys back on. Tighten them down even, of course, as we always do. Make sure everything's balanced. This isn't really complicated, but sometimes seeing it happen before you dive into it makes life a bit easier. So that's why I'm doing this, really showing what I'm doing. Okay, make sure those are nice and secure in there, but you know, you don't want to kill it. So now, these are both going to go on the back side. Both your new hoses are going to go on the back side, and I'll show you when I pull these off why I replaced them, because it's pretty bad. There's a big ass hole in it. Okay, now to pull off your banjos on the bottom. It's a size 12 as well. I'm gonna take them off and I'll put them on. Okay, let that drain. Now I put these on here before, and they're on there pretty tight. There's a washer that's right here on the top of this nut, or this bolt, sorry. You want to make sure that that's there, because you do not want to lose those. It helps fasten this down and really secure it tightly. So we'll put that back up there. Also, the banjo that were in the old piece, I'm saving those in case I need them for anything else, and I'll save that piece. But these hoses are garbage. So take that one off, bring this one down, make sure you put this gasket right here in where it goes. Got mosquitoes out here in Oregon today. So put that in there, kind of pull this up so that it fits there, fits real nice. Put that so it's going on. Screw that bad boy back in there. Remember, you're going into aluminum here, So you do not want to kill this. You do not want to make it super, super tight because you will just strip it straight out. So we're going to tighten her down. And you generally go about finger tight and then another quarter of a turn. Something like that to get it so that it's secured on there. Otherwise you'll strip it out right away. So same thing over here. It's literally exactly mirrored the same. I'm going to take it off. You have that same washer on your banjo. You want to make sure it's there and is, you know, healthy, looks good, and is in the right place. You don't want it on the inside of the hose. I'll show you what I mean here. So take that, make sure your placement gasket is in the right spot. Slide that bad boy back in there. Okay, so I'll come up here. Okay, so your washer is against the head of the bolt here. If you have it where you have the end of the hose and then the gasket, you end up with a bit of a leak here, and this is too far into the I don't even know what the name of the attachment is called, but the end of that hose has a little running edge on it, and that's where you have a hole here and a hole here. If you can see that there, hole here, hole down here, and then it goes up into your pipe, your hose. So if you have the brake or the washer, words are hard today. If you have the washer on this end of that pipe, your brake line, then this hole is too far down, so you don't have the right amount of pressure or the right placement of the pressure. So you want it all the way tight against there, just so that you see that up close. So then we're going to slide her back into that new hose that we put back on there. Put this in the right spot. It's kind of just a little bit of a soft touch to get it there. Once you get her down, start sucking it down. Can't stress enough that being careful with how tight you tighten them, because if you strip that out, you're ending up buying yourself a whole new brake caliper. So, you know, be sure it's tight, but you don't want to you really don't want to get too tight in that. You know, I think, I believe in the manual, it gives you a torque amount of, you know, with a tensioner bar. So, you know, you follow that so that you know exactly how much you're actually supposed to put on there. But a good general rule is finger tight plus a quarter of a turn. So that really sucks it down real well. Okay, so now I'll show you. Couldn't get my brakes to tighten down with the pressure. So I'm gonna put this out here so that if you can see it and see how far we can get with it. If you can see right here where my thumb is, there's a big damn hole in it, big old hole right there, and that's why I didn't see it. It was on the inside of the brake. It was hiding under the line like that, so that's why I couldn't get any pressure. So I believe this one is good, but I just ordered this new one off of eBay, and they had tested it and everything. It was all good to go, so I just picked that one up for really cheap. And so now I'll toss this this broken one. I'll throw this one out, mark it bad. I'll actually cut the line, and then I'll keep this other one just in case I need a you know, a last minute save for myself. So that's the basic installment of it. Oh, one last piece it helps to have brake lines on the top connected to the handle. My brain's not completely here apparently. So we'll get this bad boy off. Now this one has two washers for gaskets at the top up here. So when you take this off, you got to be real careful. There's an extra gasket or an extra washer on the inside there. Okay. So take that first washer off. Hold on to it. Take off your banjo, and there's another washer in here, right there, against that. That'll drop out of the way. That one is still good as well, I believe. I gotta double check on that one. Then bring this new one up and get her in place. Put the banjo in with that washer on the inside. Put the new washer on the outside, and then tighten her down by finger. So with this, when I say that I'm going finger tight, I literally mean that. But to give you an idea, what I do here is I'll tighten her down until I just feel it stop. Right, so there it stopped. Right, I can't push it really easy, and then I'll go quarter, like maybe a third of a turn if I really want it tight. Right. I'm gonna adjust this because I need it to be down a little bit further. This needs to be down here, and then so go to stop and then give it that extra turn, and you're good to go. Now should be able to load up my brakes and get actual pressure. I don't know if you can see it from that angle. Let's see what we got. Here, we'll turn it up just a bit. So this is a fun part about the new handlebars. Not so much fun actually. Notice that these are both at an angle. They're actually tipped. So when I go to actually fill up the reservoirs, I have to either take this whole thing off, or I have to kick the front tire up onto something. I use tire ramps for a car, whatever. Put a bunch of pieces of wood under it, lift it up, have somebody slide some wood under it, whatever you got to do. Just make sure when you lift it, it's safe. And then turn your handlebars, and this will become flat because now you're kicked up, and then you turn it, and it flattens that out. It's a pain in the butt either way you do it, but I like the new handlebars. I'm actually thinking about getting a set of Sabre, master cylinders. Apparently they're a little bit different, but it is what it is for right now. So there you go. When you're done, make sure that you tighten your stuff back down. I'm going to tighten this back down. I'll readjust my headlight later. Keep it at least somewhat straight. Alright, there you go. So yeah, that's the brake lines. I'm Rick. This is the next installment in the video. I've got a couple others out there on, I just replaced my slave cylinder on the clutch, and then tomorrow I think I'm going to be tearing off the carburetors on these. They're really stuck down there, and it'll be a pain in the butt to tear them off, so it'll be a fun video. Thanks all for watching. Ride safe.